This is Simply Angeline, and I'm HBCU proud. Welcome back to Simply Angeline, the channel dedicated to the storytelling of diverse children's stories so kids can feel seen and inspired. Guess where we're going today? We're going to an HBCU. HBCU Proud, that is, and that's by Yvette Mans and illustrated by Caterina Neto. We take a trip with Q and his Aunt True to her alma mater, Legacy University, and he meets so many different people there. Let's see if he decides to go to Legacy University. HBCU Proud by Yvette Mans, illustrated by Caterina Neto. I guess I'll look around and entertain myself, I sighed. I was still half asleep from our early morning drive that lasted for hours, just to wait forever in the lobby of this building. Hang on a sec. I'm almost done here in the alumni office. Why don't you take a look at the photographs on the wall? Aunt True suggested, as she buckled up her purse. I walked aimlessly, then stopped to focus on one photograph. I gazed at the image of an older man with a long handlebar mustache and a patch of hair covering his chin. The quote underneath the portrait read, "Strive for that greatness of spirit that measures life not by its disappointments, but by its possibilities." What did this man mean by the spirit? How old is this guy? He must be 100 years old by now. I can't imagine being remembered for words I said one time. Are you ready to explore the HBCU campus, Q? She asked. I liked when Aunt True called me Q. It made me feel special, different, unique. Q is her nickname for me because I have the same name as her brother, who's my dad. My grandpa has the same name, and so does his father. And then there's me, William J. Evans IV. The Q is short for quadruple, which means the number of times the name has been used in my family. What is an HBCU? I asked. I usually enjoy traveling with Aunt True on school breaks, but why bring me to another school when I was on vacation from my own school? Aunt True answered, HBCU means historically black college or university. A long time ago, black people didn't have options to get an education, so HBCUs were started so we could have a place to call home. Of course! There are tons to choose from, but you know I only choose the best for my family, and that's Legacy University. Maybe one day you'll be a student here and keep the HBCU tradition going. We'll see, I shrugged and peered around to take in all the sights and sounds. The people look so different here. Everybody had their own style. Some students looked like they were going to a business meeting, and other students had on Legacy University t-shirts with some nice kicks. I watched a group of students wearing different colors as they talked and laughed with each other. The students had all kinds of hairstyles: braids, locks, long hair, short hair, bald heads, low fades, twisty hairstyles, and tall afros. But these people all had one thing in common. They moved swiftly as soon as the tall clock on the watchtower chimed at 9 o'clock. I needed to keep close to Aunt True so I didn't get swept away in the wave of people. We marched over to the student center where a guy with a black and red shirt waved at us. Did this guy know us? Or is he just really friendly? Aunt True read my thoughts and explained, "That's my old classmate, DeMarcus. He works here at the university, and he will show us around before his lunch break." "Trudy!" he exclaimed with his arms extended. "You haven't aged since we were on the yard." "Well, Marcus, it's great to see you again, too," she cheerfully responded as she flipped her braids over her shoulder to embrace her longtime friend. "I go by True now. No need to call me by my full name. And speaking of names, this is my nephew, Q." "What's going on, young brother?" DeMarcus said as he shook my hand. "You can call me Marcus, too." Aunt True looked at me with a straight face as I replied, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Marcus." "This is a sharp young man, True," Marcus chuckled. "He's got a firm handshake and good manners." I smiled politely, stood up straight, and fixed my collar. Marcus continued, "Let's start our tour before the lunchtime rush." I nodded my head in agreement. I liked Marcus. He was funny, nice, and smart. He had to be smart if he noticed how sharp I am. Plus, he graduated from Legacy University and used to play in the marching band. He told me he plays the horns just like I do. The three of us toured the campus, starting inside the School of Business. Marcus told us the students were studying how to be entrepreneurs, people who start their own businesses. It felt like we walked 100 miles. Everywhere we went, people were hard at work, focused on their lessons. We weaved in and out of the College of Education, the Research Center, the Media Department, the Social Work Building, the Arts Department, and the Financial Aid Office. It was all a blur. You know the building we just stepped out of? That's where you go to pay for your classes and claim your scholarships. Scholarships? I didn't know what that word meant. I must have looked confused because Aunt True added, "It means free money for college you can earn now by getting good grades, writing essays, your sports skills, or volunteering, Q." "Don't forget about the band scholarships," Marcus interjected, marching in place and playing an invisible trumpet. That's how I made my way through Legacy University. Just as Marcus reminded us of his musical talent, the beat of the not too far away drums echoed through the air. "Can we see the band practice?" I asked hopefully. Marcus replied, "Sure. It's on the way to the cafeteria, our final stop on our HBCU tour today." We climbed up the steps of the bleachers and sat on the hot metal seats. We watched and listened to the band rehearsing on the football field. The band director blew his whistle and swirled his hands above his head. I imagined myself playing my horn on the field one day, in a uniform with shiny buttons, just like theirs. We left the football stadium and headed down the sidewalk, passing the dorms. I couldn't believe kids slept and lived at schools by themselves. That must be fun, I pondered. After a long, hot trek, we arrived at the student center and into the cafeteria. "Are you hungry, young brother?" Marcus asked me. "I'm so hungry I could eat a horse," Marcus replied. "Sorry to inform you, but they don't serve horse in the caf." He chuckled and looked at Aunt True. "But it is Friday, so you know what that means. Fried Fish Friday." Aunt True and Marcus answered in unison. "Wow," Aunt True gushed. "It makes my heart happy to see our beloved Legacy University still standing strong and just as great today as it was back when we were in school. Some things never change." "Actually, True," Marcus replied, "some things do change. Take a look at the neighborhood around campus," Aunt True asked. "What happened to the old apartment buildings down the street? Luxury townhouses? What about the corner store where we would grab snacks? An organic supermarket? The park where we used to shoot hoops? A fenced-in dog park? How about the wing spot where you could get a quick bite to eat? A fancy coffee shop?" Look, Marcus, change is a good thing. The students at Legacy University need better living options around them. Aunt True insisted. I agree, True, Marcus responded, but no one's ever bothered our campus until now. It makes me wonder, why is there so much interest in our neighborhood all of a sudden? Every day I see more and more construction projects around our HBCU campus. This side of town has never been touched. Now, it's changing so much. It was such a beautiful day. We grabbed our lunches and had a picnic under the shade of a tall oak tree. Students called this place the quad. Others called it the yard. But for me, it was the perfect spot for me to enjoy my catfish sandwich, french fries, salad, lemonade, and peach cobbler. Why do you care about the construction so much, Marcus? I asked in between bites, getting back to the last conversation. I looked at Aunt True. She usually hates when I talk with my mouth full of food. But this time, she just smiled at me as I covered my mouth with my hand. I continued. What's the big deal about construction in the neighborhood? Well, Q, he looked around. You see this land we're sitting on? This is hallowed ground, meaning it's special. It holds our HBCU's history and tradition. The students and graduates are HBCU proud. And our experience is more than just students going to classes, step shows, homecoming, parties, or football games, even though those things are fun to do. Historically Black colleges and universities represent the strength of people who had to find a way or make one. Some HBCUs, he continued, began towards the end of slavery. Black people needed places to get an education, whether it was in agriculture, mechanics, teaching, nursing, history, religion, the list goes on and on. The possibilities were endless, but resources weren't. Very well stated, my friend, Aunt True replied. While giving him a fist bump, she turned and looked at me. I must agree with you. HBCUs are necessary today more than ever, she explained. Do you remember those students we saw earlier? Those young people are the leaders of tomorrow. HBCUs are a breeding ground for some of the best doctors, teachers, scientists, musicians, athletes, writers, actors, entrepreneurs, and trailblazers the world has yet to see. I wondered why Aunt True and Marcus loved this school so much. I finally figured out why. Aunt True brought me here. I get it now, I exclaimed. It wasn't just about all the fun things and the cool people I saw here today. It was about the spirit of former slaves, the spirit of revolutionaries, the spirit of everyday people, the spirit of greatness. That's why everyone here is HBCU proud. I'm glad you get it, young brother, Marcus replied. It was just about time for me to return to work, and I looked over Marcus's shoulder and couldn't believe what I saw approaching from a distance. Beep, beep, beep. The sound of a construction truck backing into the front gate of Legacy University interrupted him mid-sentence. Oh no, I gasped. They were trying to tear away this HBCU's land. Hey, you can't have our school. This land represents tradition, legacy, and pride. The construction workers tied a chain around the statue and yanked it out of the ground. The golden statue was identical to the man with the spirit quote from the painting in the alumni office. I raised my hand to get his attention and shouted, "Stop!" The truck froze. The driver parked his vehicle and leaped down from his seat. I marched over to him on the ground that generations of leaders walked on before I did. Hey kid, chill out, he bargained as he chewed his gum with his mouth open. No one's messing with your school. You see that statue over there? He pointed to where he had started his work. We're moving it closer to the front gate. Some lady who graduated here donated a bunch of money this morning. So the statue's getting a new location where everyone can see it, he explained. Are you sure about that? I eyed him suspiciously. Scout's honor, he replied, still smacking his gum. Aunt True called me over to say goodbye to Marcus. Before we strolled to the car, I looked behind us to the construction worker. He gave us a salute, and we watched him deliver on his promise to move the statue to the middle of campus. On our drive home in the car, the sky turned orange and the trees on the side of the road became a blur. Aunt True broke the silence and whispered, "I'm proud of you, Q." "Me? Why?" I asked curiously. "Is it because you think I love Legacy University like you do?" "No, it's because you stood up for what you believed in, and you were bold and you fought for what was important to you," Aunt True replied. "Thanks, Aunt True," I smiled. "Sorry to break it to you, but I don't know if I'll go to Legacy University when I get old enough. It's too early for me to decide. One thing is for sure though, I am definitely attending an HBCU." Aunt True winked at me through the rearview mirror. As sleep fell over me, I thought about the people in the pictures, the students I saw today, and of course, the man on the statue. I wonder what my future would be like. Where I'll live, where I'll go to college, or even what I'll do for a living. But I know one job I will have, and that's to continue the family tradition of being HBCU proud. The end. So, what did you think of our trip to Legacy University? Or should I say HBCU proud? I thought it was really good too. Shout out to Yvette Mans for letting me read this amazing book. If you want her information, the link will be down below. And also, if you want to purchase this book, which you should already be doing right now, the link will be down below as well. Yvette Mans went to Clark Atlanta University, so I just want to give them a big shout out because this weekend is their homecoming. So shout out to everybody at Clark Atlanta. I hope you have a memorable and enjoyable homecoming 2023. Atlanta is my hometown, so I want to give a big shout out to everybody at Clark Atlanta. Have so much fun this weekend. And also, have fun to you all. Whatever you're doing, have fun and learn more about HBCUs. Simply Angeline will see you next time. Bye, everybody.